An injury to one is an injury to all. We're all family in this room through the union. What ERT means to me is a peace of mind. I want everybody in the audience to look to your left, look to that person to your left, then look to the person to your right. Some may be co-workers, some may be families. What would you do today if that person was unable to go home with you? Are you prepared? Are the families prepared? Well, brothers and sisters, that's what I am involved to do. I go out and assist the families.
September 21st, 2007. That was a tragic day for Stephen, Colleen, and Carly Wilson, because that was the day their son and brother, Kevin, did not return from work because he was killed in a workplace accident. September 21st, 2007 was also a day that District 2 said enough is enough. Shortly after Kevin's accident in 2007, we developed the Kevin Wilson Initiative. It's a rank-and-file safety training program that we've developed through the partnership of the Tony Mazzocchi Center. In 2008, we introduced to each of our locals this program, and that year we trained over 2,000 of our members in hazard mapping. This year, not only are we expanding that program, we've trained another 900 members on hazard mapping to date. Also this year, we've appointed a rank-and-file coordination, adaptation, training, and safety team who coordinate and develop our district safety training. We've also trained an additional 25 rank-and-file members who go out in the district and train our members in their work sites. I would like to tell the Wilson family that every day Kevin is remembered in the district through our safety training program and through the lives that he has and the lives that he will save as we train our members and make their workplaces safer.
On behalf of Colleen, Carly, and my son Kevin, I want to tell you about September 21st, 2007. That's the day that Kevin died while doing his job. As most of you already know, the story of a fatality at a workplace doesn't start or begin when someone dies. Kevin had just moved back home after living with college roommates and girlfriends for quite a few years, and he was saving for a home of his own. He'd finally got a good union-paying job. As the sun went down, I was out in the front yard adjusting some low-voltage lighting, and all of a sudden, 2 police cars raced up my driveway. They asked me to go up to the garage so we could talk, which was kind of odd. So we walked up to the garage, and I began to get very nervous when they asked me to sit down on the cement floor. Then they told me the words that no parent, nobody should ever have to hear. They said, "Look, there's no easy way to say this, so I'm going to tell you, your son was killed at work tonight." Well, of course, I didn't believe it. I asked if there was any chance there could be a mistake. Maybe he was just injured. Maybe it was mistaken identity. How could my healthy and handsome son be dead? But it was true. My firstborn child was dead. It seemed like the end of my life, the end of my meaning for even existing was gone. And then I told the woman I'd been married to for 30 years to take my hand, and I led her outside to the grass. I told her our firstborn child was dead. That was very hard because it magnified my grief very much, seeing her anguish, hearing her cry. And 25 minutes later, my daughter came home, and it was the same thing, horror and disbelief. In fact, by that time, my wife and I were so upset that my daughter, Carly, guessed what was happening before we could even tell her. She said, "Is Kevin dead?" And I said, "Yes," through my sobs. We lost Kevin because the machine that he operated had fewer automatic safety measures than my garage door opener. Only months before Kevin was killed, he had come home and he told us about an accident that was almost identical to the one that he had. That time there was no fatality. And instead of adding an automatic safety device when they had a perfect illustration of the danger, the company added another button and they wrote a procedure. Almost right away, after we heard that Kevin had been killed, we started getting phone calls from the United Steelworkers emergency response team. We didn't know who they were. We were overwhelmed with grief. And finally, Deronda Pope of the emergency response team was able to get through to us and tell us what they were all about. And frankly, it was like an angel had been sent. Right when we needed somebody the most, here was somebody we didn't even know offering help with grief counseling and other things. The support and compassion of Kevin's co-workers at 1900 was also very moving. They took up a very generous collection. They paid for a beautiful plaque, and they gave us a Bible. They also visited our home and let us know that they loved Kevin, how much they thought of Kevin, and it meant a lot to us. We are also very honored by the Kevin Wilson Initiative. Each one of you here has made a choice to be here. You are all health and safety representatives. As such, the membership of the United Steelworkers locals that you all represent are naturally going to look up to each one of you for leadership and support. Each one of you has a responsibility to do your best to continually improve for yourselves and your fellow employees the safety where you work. As my story reveals, you cannot trust, you can't depend on anybody else. My wife and daughter and I will never forget Kevin, and we will also never forget the kindness, compassion, and generosity shown to us by the United Steelworkers after his death.